this project from the wonderful Wilderness collection, we're going to use the stripes nested frames this time. So this one is more like your zebra one, isn't it? So you can see absolutely gorgeous. So this is your square frames. And again, just like the spots, if you use the outside die, it'll cut it shaped. If you don't use the inner die, it'll create a mat. But if you want to create a frame, you use all three. And that's what I've done here to cut this one out of craft card, because I thought that's a really nice combination to use with this stripes. The brown craft card works really well. So that's the bit I've done from there, just using the first three dies in that collection. But the one I wanted to cut out to show you is this silhouette horizon. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's a really clever die. So you're going to get two horizons. So this is that one you can see on there with the elephants and the antelope. Then you've got this one here with the buffalo and the giraffes as well. So what I'm going to show you is how easy this is to cut out. So I've got some black card. This is just some regular black card. Now, there is no cutting blade along the bottom of here. So if I put that at the bottom there, I'll just have that much border. If I put it right at the top, I'm going to have a really big border. I'm going to put it sort of in the middle. Now, the other thing to note about this die is it doesn't end. So what I can do is I can repeat cut this die. So let's just put it like, I'm going to come up to this edge. So no, I want it in the middle just to show you for my project, but we can show you later how that works. So if I put this on now and cut it, make sure that's nice and straight. There we go. What I could then do is once it's cut, let me show you on here. What I can do, because I've got one that's cut, is before I cut it out of the card, you can run the next die up and cut that one on, because it doesn't cut out. So you can just keep repeating and repeating these for as long as your card is. So that is a really, really useful way to use it. So you can see on here, oh, hard to see because it's black on black. Let's get that, there we go. Now, as I said, it doesn't cut out of my cardstock. So there we go, we can see it's on there. Now, isn't that absolutely amazing? So what we could do is we could take this die and then we could put that one on there, and then we could cut another scene or just have the giraffe on the end. Or what we can do is we're going to do here is we can cut it out. Now, if I did a straight line there, it's going to look really harsh because can you see that ground is bumpy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut, just wiggle my scissors as I go so that, there we go. Can you see? I've not got a harsh line. So it just sort of follows on from the same sort of pattern. Now, I want to show you a clever trick we can do with this. So for once, I'm going to use a cream card base. Don't use that as much, but we're going to do that this time. So then I've got my dark brown cardstock from the cardstock collection. Let's just put that down as we go. Otherwise, I'm only going to have to go back and put it on again. So we can put that on. There we go. That's going to go on just there. And then I was going to put a scene on the top. So I was going to grab my scene and I was going to put my scene on the top. Now, that looks lovely, but look at the difference if I put a very narrow cream border behind. That then makes it just sort of shows it up and makes it look even better. Don't worry that it's not a perfect square because I'm going to put the frame over the top and that'll catch it. But by putting the cream on, so we've got cream, brown, cream, it really helps to frame our image. So I'm going to put that on next. Sometimes it's just about getting those mats and layers right. And again, we've just got about 2.5mm border on each side. So I just decrease the size by 5mm in total. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the frame on. But I'm going to show you, just to make sure I've got it in the right position, what I'll then do is pop, there we go, yeah, you can see. It hides the fact that it isn't perfectly square. That's going to look perfect there. So we can pop that on to my card base. There we are. So that's going to go just there, just like that. Right, so that's going to go on there. Now, what I've done is I've used 3 dies to cut this, the outside, the detail and the outside, but this frame has just been done with the 2 outside dies. So that is going to fit perfectly on there and it just pops there. Now, pop that like that. Looks amazing. Now, can you see, remember this frame that we just created? That's going to go, and the panel, the silhouette panel, that's going to go just there. Doesn't that look brilliant? They are so amazing, these silhouettes. But I can make that silhouette even better. I've cut the exact same silhouette out of white. And if I now bring this silhouette up and look at that, the tiniest drop shadow. Don't worry about the trees, they'll be right when I glue them down. If I put the tiniest drop shadow behind there, before I put my frame on, can you see how it really makes those animals pop? It's just those little tips and tricks that really help to bring your projects to life. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to run that down there. I'm going to put a little bit behind each of the pieces that stick up. Now we don't want a big drop shadow. We only want this tight, it's almost not there. So can you see just almost not there. There we go. And then we just have to line the trees up. And then line the tree up like that. And you see, that one's a bit too big. There we go. That almost imperceivable little bit of white, but it just makes all the difference. Once I'm happy with that, I'm then just going to get it and I'm just going to trim it to the size that I want. Don't worry about how neat that is. No one's going to see it. And we're going to pop a bit of glue on there and pop that onto our card base. Really makes a difference, and it's the little things like that that will make the difference to your projects. Pop that there. There we go. Oops, get rid of that. Press that down. And then we're going to get our frame. So I've just put foam tape behind here. I can put this one on first. There we go. And again, we're going to do just like we did on previous projects. We're going to get the foam tape and we're going to run the glue all the way around the edge so that I've got time to that wiggle room, because I don't want it to stick straight away. But I want the foam for the height, but I want the glue to give me that wiggle room. So we can then pop that on there like that. Look at that. We're almost, I mean, that's almost there. I could see that in a box frame. Wouldn't that look beautiful? So we're coming together. Now I'm bringing in my frame. And again, really easy to glue. Always spaces to glue on these. There we go. There and all the way around. There we go. And right down the final bit, down there. There we go. And then we can pop that. It doesn't matter which way around it is, it's square, so it'll fit anyway. Now, if I have measured it up right, then that'll fit absolutely perfect. There we go. And I can see a little piece that hasn't been popped out. That's annoying, isn't it? There we go. How about that? Right, so there we are, starting with our image. So we've created our background, and the next thing we want to do is we want to add some animals. So I have got my jaguar cub, and we can pop him on here. And we've also got our giraffe. That maybe looks a bit sinister to me. I don't like that. That to me looks like the jaguar was chasing that giraffe. I don't think I like that. Let's put it that way. There we go. I like that much better. There we go. But we just want to anchor them down, just like we've done previously. So we're going to get a tree and put it behind the giraffe. And just before, like we did before, can remember how if you don't use your foundation layer, it doesn't always look as good. What you could also do is do a white one so that it matches that drop shadow if you wanted to. And then maybe you're going to stamp a sentiment on there. We've not done that for now, but just think about putting a sentiment. And then I've also put a string bow. I found that I didn't use very many accessories on these cards. I didn't need my pearls, I didn't need my bows very often. They didn't need them. Certainly didn't go in for flowers and things like that. It wasn't in keeping with the style. But just on this one, I just thought a little string bow really, really works. So it's just in black to match all the other bits that we've got. So we can pop that on there. And again, that means we come off the edge of our card now. There we go. And that's at the right height now, you see, because let me work out where my glue needs to go. I'm going to put glue just down there. And I'm actually going to get a little bit of pin flare. And I'm going to put a little bit of my pin flare behind here, because otherwise I think his head's going to be a little bit saggy where it's going into that frame. You see, just catch it. That looks a lot better. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of wet glue behind there. And there, don't forget to put a little bit on his tail, otherwise it'll just wiggle around in the breeze, and that's not going to look very good. We can put that one on there. There we go. And there. So that's just by using the foundation die to cut that matte layer. A little bit of hot glue behind my bow. I think I need another glue stick in there, it's nearly out. There we go. Little bit of hot glue, and that's going to go on there just like that. Remember, nice sentiment, and there you have another one of your cards for your wonderful wilderness. Try changing the animals around, maybe put the adult and the baby together. You know, just play around with the animals and get different combinations, and you're going to get some fantastic results.